What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Warren. I am a banker here in London and a property investor across the UK. My goal is to live free and independently from property. So I'm looking for an income of £3,000 per month from property. If that's your goal as well and you're looking to live free and independently, subscribe to the channel. That's what my content is all about. So guys, this is an update on my previous video. I've just bought a property in Manchester that I'm looking to do a BRRR, buy, refurbish, refinance, and then rent it out. I'm doing it up, I'm doing some works to it, I'm refurbing it, and I gave you a tour around the property and I was interviewing builders that day. This is an update guys on how I chose my builder, who I went with and why, and I'm gonna give you some tips and what I learned at the end, so stick around to that because I think you're gonna find it really useful if you're doing any sort of works, any sort of refurb on a property, okay? Now let's start guys with why choosing the right builder, a good builder that you can trust, is essential. Well, first and foremost guys, let's break down BRRR. The three R's stand for refurbish, refinance, and rent. Each one of those R's is fully dependent on your builder guys. If your builder doesn't execute the refurb to the quality, the spec, the time scale, the cost that you've specified and agreed, you're gonna have a really hard time guys doing the rest of the strategy stages, i.e. the refinance and the rent. In order to refinance and pull money out, because ideally the refurb is gonna bring it up in value and squeeze extra value out of the property, and of course rent it thereafter. So the refurb is part of the critical path. I'm using project management terminology, that's my day-to-day job. It's critical, okay, to the rest of the strategy, to the rest of your plan for that house going right. Secondly guys, it's not straightforward to manage a builder remotely. I said at the beginning of this video, I live here in London. My property that I'm doing the BRR on right now is in Manchester. So I am managing the refurb 250 miles away, okay? So you need to have a trustworthy, consistent builder in place. You need to choose the right person who's gonna show up when they say they're going to show up, who's going to do it to the spec and the quality that they say they're going to do it, and who's going to deliver it on time. And what helps part of that guys is to have controls and systems and processes in place guys. And then lastly guys, why choosing a good builder is essential is because it's a significant cost. We're talking thousands of pounds 99 times out of 100. Therefore it's high risk. If it goes wrong, you could potentially lose money, right? So you want to choose a good builder to minimize the risk of you spending and losing money. So let's do a quick breakdown of the scope of works for the refurbishment guys. So starting off with, I was going to do a rip out of the kitchen. I was going to replace the whole kitchen, so that's all of the units being taken out and replaced with new ones. Taking up all of the floors throughout the house, so upstairs and downstairs, and also taking off the tiles in the kitchen and the bathroom, and potentially some wallpaper in some of the rooms if we can't paint directly over them. Next, we're going to install a new kitchen, install new bathroom cupboards. I'm actually going to keep the bath and the shower and the toilet and the sink. They're in good condition, so why replace them if you don't have to? I'm putting in new carpets in 2 of the bedrooms upstairs, on the landing and on the stairs coming down. I'm installing laminate flooring downstairs in the reception and the dining room and also the kitchen, and vinyl flooring in the bathroom upstairs because vinyl copes a bit better with humidity and water. So new flooring basically throughout the whole house, and then some tiles in the kitchen and the bathroom, and then paint the whole house. Gonna give it a refresh, a nice fresh lick of paint throughout, okay? So that's the scope of works. Now let's talk about the builders, okay? So very interesting. I invited 5 builders, did my research on various sites and forums and whittled it down to 5. Interestingly guys, we're going through a period right now where a lot of builders are very busy. So I'd say about half of the builders that I called, I probably contacted about 20 in total, to be honest with you guys, and about half of them I'd say were actually just not available till the new year. I'm talking like January, February, March, because they were just busy with other jobs, which is a good sign, right? A busy builder is a good thing, but obviously if you need a builder to start immediately, it doesn't work for you, okay? So a lot of builders were busy. I got it down to 5 that were available. So let's break it down. So on the day, what happened? 2 out of the 5 builders did not turn up. So that was annoying because, long story short guys, if I'd have gone down that weekend and only invited those 2 builders, I would have driven 250 miles to Manchester, sacrificed the whole weekend, you know, with my wife, with friends, with family, to be in Manchester, waiting at a house like a lemon for no one to turn up, and I'd have come back to Manchester having achieved nothing, right? So tip number one, guys, my golden, probably the biggest tip if you get nothing else out of this video, when you are scoping out and trying to do a refurb of a house, invite at least 5 builders, maybe even 6, 7 guys, to come look around the house and give you a quote, because it seems inevitable that some just won't turn up. They literally said to me beforehand, you know, called them probably a week before, and then the day before, what I like to do is send them a text or give them a ring, say, like, we're still on for tomorrow. They all said yes, but on the day, 2 of them just didn't turn up. Text them on the day, emailed them, just didn't respond. I was like, weird, okay? So anyway, 3 ended up turning up. First one who turned up was an interesting guy. I just went through the scope of works in terms of what I needed done. He basically rocked up and said, hey, look, you know, what I like to do is install kitchens and bathrooms. I don't really like doing floors, don't really like doing painting and that kind of stuff. So maybe you can get somebody else to do that. I'll just do the kitchen and bathroom. I looked at him and I was just like, in my head, what are you talking about, mate? Oh, hey there. If you're finding this video useful, informative, maybe even entertaining, do me a favor, guys, take your index finger and move it a few centimeters to the right and like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, really helps with the algorithm. And now back to the video. I put the scope of works on the ad, you know, everything that I wanted doing. I texted it to you as well. We spoke about it on the phone and you agreed to it. And now you've turned up and said, oh, I only want to do these 2 things. Absolutely baffled, guys. Really confused me. I mean, the logic defied me. It's like turning up to a job interview. Say you turned up to an interview to become, I don't know, a maths teacher. And you turn up and on the day you're like, oh, you know what? I just like marking homework. I don't actually like teaching in class and doing like lesson plans and that. So yeah, I'm here, but yeah, that's all I want to do for this job. I mean, crazy. So the other 2 that turned up, one of them was more, I think, structurally focused in terms of the work he'd done. He had old school guy, so he had printouts of the work he did. He had pieces of paper rather than on his phone, bless him. But he was showing me works that he's done. He's done stuff like, you know, digging out a hole in the ground, so like big house, and he's built sort of like an underground man cave. He's told me that he's built like soundproof rooms. He's built office buildings in people's gardens, very structural focused. And when I was talking to him, he was trying to usher me towards more structural work. So it was like, you know, do you want to do soundproofing in the loft? What are you going to do with the loft? What are you going to do downstairs? You know, I can do something downstairs. We have a cellar, by the way. I showed you it again in my last video. A creepy cellar. But he was like, yeah, you know, I could do some works on this as well. And other stuff. And I was just like, no, mate, just stick to the scope, please. But very nice guy. Very skilled by the looks of the work that he's done and his references and his website. The other guy was spot on, to be honest with you guys. He had built other new build flats in London, actually, and it was showing me, you know, the flats that he's done on his phone this time, and they looked exactly how I wanted my house to look. Sleek, clean, straightforward refurbs that rent well, okay? So that was the difference between the 2 main builders who I was considering. So let's move on, guys, to who I actually chose. Now, I said I'll give you some tips. Let's go through them step by step. So first of all, guys, is who do you get on with, right? So yes, the work is primary. That takes precedence above all. Are they going to do a good job to a good standard? When you look at their references and their other works done, whether it's on their website or whether you can actually go and visit, does it look good? Would you live there? So that's foremost. But then secondly is, are you going to get on with them? You know, some people are just difficult to work with, right? You really don't want a builder who's difficult to work with, guys, especially when you're managing it remotely like I am 250 miles away. I just want somebody who's going to give me updates regularly, as agreed, who's going to be contactable, who's going to do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, right? So when you're interviewing buildings and you're doing walkthroughs around the property and you're talking to them, I really think it's important, especially for me personally, guys, to make a judgment on how you get along with this person, how they seem, do you have a rapport with them, okay? Secondly, guys, is who's professional. So speaking directly from experience, I mentioned one of the guys who turned up just said, you know what, I just want to do these 2 things. That's not professional, you know, to come to a viewing and say, actually, I just want to do these 2 things and can get someone else to do the other stuff. You know, what is he going to be like on the actual job, okay? And also stuff like a website. I'm not saying that every single builder has to have a website, but, you know, if a builder has a website, to me, that's an indication that, you know, they're proud of their work, they're transparent, they have pride in what they do because they're willing to put it out there for anyone to see. So that's really important to me as well. I already mentioned guys taking a look at their work. So if they've got pictures on paper, a website or their phone, ask them to send you examples of what they've done elsewhere so you can make a judgment off of that. Also guys, how long are they going to take? That's really important because I'm on bridging finance. So every month that I spend on it, it's costing me hundreds of pounds. So I want to get the refurb done as soon as possible and move off of bridge and finance onto a mortgage. So how long are they going to take? And then lastly guys, I also touched on it, but you know, that breakdown of the quotes, how does one builder compare to another? Now I'm not saying a cheaper builder is automatically better because that's just not the case, right, all the time. But, you know, if there's a material difference of like thousands of pounds, you're going to have to ask them, you know, like, what is the reason behind this discrepancy? Why are you charging more for this specific part of the works than this person? And try and understand that and make your own decision based off of that. So guys, that's a breakdown of why I chose my builder, how I chose my builder. I'm not an expert yet by any means. This is my first BRRR project. So if there's anything I've missed, please add it in the comments below. If you want to talk more about refurbing projects and how I'm going about it and my experiences, you know, get in touch with me via social media. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, or book in a session via a link in the description below. Subscribe and like for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys soon.